Mike McDaniel went over to Nick Bosa, made a little pitch, wasn't quite tampering. Then, I don't know how Nick Bosa felt about it. Deebo Samuel, on the other hand, picked this game to have his best game of the season. Strange timing considering the season's over, but Mike McDaniel's on the team. Jalen Ramsey's on the team. He had something to prove. Do you think Deebo will end up getting traded to the Dolphins? I think he will. You got to trade him, right? Right?
You know what I think is going to happen? I think Debo's going to be here next year. Brock's going to be extended. Kyle's going to be here. John's going to be here. That's what I think is going to happen. Would I like them to trade him to Miami? Yeah, and I would like to get back Aaron Brewer. Give me the center. Aaron Brewer is like the 10th best pass blocking center in the NFL right now. Huge upgrade over Jake Brendel. Just give me Brewer for Samuel, and Brewer signed for 3 more years. Just give me a clean trade with that. I'd be stoked, right? Or let's make it a package deal. You get Deebo and Bosa. We get Brewer and a first this year and next year.
I could be wrong. I feel like the Dolphins were interested in Deebo at one time. I don't think they're interested anymore.
Who? Yeah.
I mean, they're spending a lot on Tyreek. They're spending a lot on Jalen Waddle. Maybe if they trade Tyreek Hill, then they could bring on Deebo Samuel and his salary. But I think they're trying to get younger. You know, the team that I heard that was interested in Deebo Samuel this offseason, I heard this recently. I heard that there was a deal almost in place between these teams, and it was nixed at the last second. Tampa. Now, they have Liam Cohn. They run sort of like a 3 wide receiver offense. You know, they got Godwin and Evans, but they apparently were interested in Deebo Samuel this offseason. I don't know if that there still are. Lots changed since then. But I could see Deebo going to Tampa.
I think Deebo and Kyle are going to ride into the sunset together after next season. I don't see it, man. I hope I
have a theory about that. People say like they're friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it I feel like it's more self-serving. Like, why does Deebo like Kyle? Maybe they get along, but also like he got you paid and gets you the ball. Yeah. So it's sort of in your interest to be friends with him. And then from Kyle's perspective, like, do you like Deebo the guy, or do you like the fact that you scouted him at the Senior Bowl, you picked him, and he's sort of your evidence that you can actually be a personnel guy and not just a coach? I feel like it's sort of like a self-serving aspect to their relationship.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're like they have a lot in common and like want to hang out with each other at all. That's not what I mean. But I think next year, if Kyle doesn't make the playoffs, he's out of here. I think Deebo is super expensive, and so after next year, it makes it easy to move on from him. So that's what I just mean is they're probably both going to be here next year is what I meant.
Deshaun DeVoe says, bring Deion and his son, LOL. I hadn't thought of that. Trade Kyle, get the picks, trade up for Shador. Deion's the coach. John Lynch and Deion in the same organization. Are you kidding? That they would be in the all-time defensive backfield. I mean, you'd have 2 of the best DBs ever. Sure, they're in their 60s, but
I like Deion a lot. He's one of my favorite 49ers, even though I only got a year with him. But daddy ball in the NFL, I'm good. I'm going to pass on that. No, I'm not going to do that. Like, that shouldn't even happen.
Did you ever coach any of your sons in basketball?
I stopped. I told I'm not. I made it a decision. When you get to high school, I'm not coaching you anymore, because I don't think after like 8th grade or something, like, dad shouldn't be coaching their sons. Like, that's not a good thing to me. No.
Feel it. Frisco Shills says a new quarterback won't fix the O-line. Draft Will Campbell. It's funny, like, the Niners were winning some games, and like, remember in training camp, we'd be there talking about like, hey, you know, these offensive linemen don't look so good. You have people in the stands being like, actually, they're all great. Like, wasn't that like I feel like Brad Graham, the offensive line guy who has all the, would constantly talk about how underrated and over maligned these offensive linemen are. And then Brock has one bad game where he takes one hit during a pick, and it's like, well, we got to throw this whole unit under the bus, when all the, like, most of the advanced statistics indicate it's a pretty middle of the road offensive line.
What the funniest one to me is, I think Lombardi was coming at me or you or all of us, and he said, you guys don't understand how this works. Talking about the 49ers don't need to invest in the offensive line. And then all he's talking about now is the offensive line is horrible. So I thought that
he was talking all offseason about how much the Niners improved it and how it was like a false narrative that they didn't address it. Now he's like, they really actually need to address this for the first time. It's like, okay. Yeah. Isaac, $5. Thank you. Dazza says Deebo's had like 5 good games in the last 3 years. That checks out. Warren Lord says, are people going to pretend that Cousins being cut rather than traded may drastically change the quarterback situation? No draft capital, and you get to decide the contract. Purdy isn't signed yet.
I don't know, man. Like, I know I said a few weeks ago they should get Cousins, and then he proceeded to be absolutely dog trash ever since I said that. But I still think Cousins is a more talented thrower of the football than Brock Purdy. He's not mobile. You would have to get him an offensive line. But I still think Cousins understands Kyle's offense and could run it exactly how Kyle wants, minus the mobility. So you'd have to get him an offensive line.